The Victor Blue Devils surprised everyone but themselves en route to a Section 5 title last year, and tonight they got to defend that title one night before everyone else tried to do the same. Yeah, Victor Blue Devils in Syracuse at the Carrier Dome taking on Baldwinsville. Nobody scored in the first. That changed in the second. Tristan Ireland, happy Section 5 football season. We got a touchdown on the run. Victor takes the lead. Then it's Jamie Trimboli to Zach Lefebvre. Nice yak yards after catch, cuts inside, takes the blow, inside the 10 he goes, and then this time same combo, Lefebvre inside the pylon for 6 points. Victor looking real good. They get a nice win in Baldwinsville, 34-13.
13 Wham Sports, driven by Bob Johnson Chevrolet.
What a forecast we had for the first Friday night of the high school football season. Clear skies, warm temperatures, and a 100% chance of blood, sweat, and tears. Let's go under the lights for the first time this year. Start in Irondequoit, East vs. West. Eagles defending Class A champs against rival Eastridge. Lancers, though, get it going early. Bobby Albritton. Pass to C.J. Turner. Oh, it's too easy to rhyme it with Burner. Out at the 1-yard line. That would just help set up this. Handoff to Jake Trinoski. Trinoceros lowers his shoulder through the crowd to put Eastridge on the board. Later in the first half, Lancers in the red zone again. Former Irondequoit Eagle Curtis June uses the cavalry in front to double the lead. Eastridge, that's a statement game for them. They take it 33-17. Another crosstown rivalry going on down 104. Thomas and Schroeder, because America. Schroeder ball in the first. Andrew Millen screen to Amari Jones. Not going to get a ton, but he's going to get a chunk, and that chunk would help set up a field goal, and the Warriors would take a 3-0 lead. But how's this for an answer? You are 100% correct. Your SAT score, very good. 70 yards through the air. Brendan Smith to Brandon Leiter. He'd be tackled deep inside Warrior territory. This drive would continue into the next quarter, where Thomas facing a 4th and 2 from the 4-yard line. Well, Smith's going to go across the field this time. Oh, those tricky Titans. Pat Vandermark, hold on to it. He does, rumbles through. First of many Titan touchdowns. They looked good, 27-10 the final. Speaking of looking good, how's this young man, Josh Mack? He's feeling swagger, and rightfully so, taking on Churchville. If you didn't know, he's very good. Cuts it back upfield, trips up, doesn't get tackled, turns the defender around, and then pure speed. They already had a big lead. The lead got bigger on his 5th touchdown of the first half. Mack would then sit down. Marquise Carter's going to step in, and then he's going to step into this run. Poof. Just lowers his shoulder, bounces off the defender, and goodbye. No drop-off between those two backs. 31-yard score. Pittsford would crack the 70 mark. 70-14 the final. Brighton hosting Spencerport just down on Winton Road. Barron's down 14-7 in the third, but pass out to Owen Davis, who both whips and nays. Very impressive. In one move, Davis eventually pushed out, but not until the big gain. And why not feed the beast again? You saw what he could do. Austin Carr, the fade to the corner for Davis. Nice catch. Brighton, though, missed the point after. They're still down 1. And then Spencerport rolls right on downfield. Taj Snow through the line into pay dirt. Spencerport pulls away late, 34-19. Greg Merzak back this season for the defending Class B champs, Batavia. They started up against UPrep. Batavia up 7-6 in the first. Merzak slinging it. Anthony Gallo outside the defensive back and taking it all the way home. Well, not all the way. He turned back. Got the points, though. Now in the second, Merzak fakes the handoff. He can do this, too. Breaks a pair of tackles. The zig, the zag, the doink. In for 6. 20-6 Blue Devils lead. But in the third, here come the Griffins. A nice performance by them. Might be one to watch this year. Greg Faust showing off his arm by hitting Jonathan Williams for the 33-yard score. Teams big, teams fast, and in the fourth, they kept coming back. Corey Wyatt high steps in to tie things up at 20 apiece, but Batavia would finish the job. UPrep's comeback falls short, 33-26. Couple of scoreboards for you. Wilson starts off strong, 34-0, while Penn Yan takes down Wayne 42-14, and a couple of more. Greece Arcadia just misses out on a chance to beat Brockport, while Clyde Savannah, very nice 38-6 win over Marcus Whitman.
Now, 13 Wham Sports, driven by Bob Johnson Chevrolet.
We saw some of the best players in Section 5 light up the scoreboard Friday night, but we had yet to see many think might be the best team, and surprise, surprise, that team would be Aquinas. They were at the Carrier Dome tonight, taking on CBA out of Syracuse. Jake Zembeck, senior QB, going to Penn State. Hurt early last year, taking a sack. This time, just gets crunched by 3 CBA defenders. A brutal hit, but I'd say he was okay. Looking end zone for Ernest Edwards. You'll hear that combo a couple times. Zembeck had 2 TDs through the air on the day. More TDs for Edwards. This one, though, coming on defense. He can catch and he can run. Aquinas let off the gas pedal eventually, and they get the win 33-20. To Greece Athena we go. Hot one out there. The Heat not slowing down Tavon Granison, though, and the Trojans against HFL up 14-0 inside their own 20. Granison, quick pass to Kenny Speed. I'm just going to let his name do the talking for him, or rather his legs. He's going 80-plus yards all the way to pay dirt. And, yeah, Athena up 21-0 and looking awfully good. And then it's Granison, the quarterback. A lot of good players have come through Greece Athena over the years. None of them have had a run longer than this. 97 or 98 yards, a little unclear on the distance, but either way, longest run in school history. Trojans roll today, 40-13. Rush-Henrietta hosting McQuaid. Jared Gerbino playing QB, of course, for the Royal Comets. Looking good to Joseph Ortiz, and Ortiz catches it in the flat. Nice little cut outside, follows a block. Money, RH up big. Next possession, same story, a little easier this time. Quick handoff up the middle. He's got some burst. Royal Comets cruise to victory today, 56-0.
13 Wham Sports, driven by Bob Johnson Chevrolet.
All right, it is just week 2 of the Section 5 football season, but some things already apparent. Teams can put up some points, a lot of points. Let's get things going. One of those teams, that's Victor. We start with our own John Doss. John?
Guys, here at Webster Thomas, it was supposed to be one of the games of the night, a game between 2 early unbeatens, 2 teams that had impressive week 1 wins. Instead, things got a little lopsided. Victor made the trip north to take on the Titans. It was 7-0 midway through the second, but then the Devils turned it on. It was 21-0 with under a minute to go. How about the double reverse flea flicker? Jamie Trimboli finds Zach Lefebvre for the score, but an illegal formation nullified it, but who cares? 2 plays later, same combo. Trimboli to Lefebvre in the corner. Victor cruises over Webster Thomas. And across 104 West at Irondequoit, the Eagles hosted Spencerport. First play from scrimmage, Tyshawn Sizer hits the edge, and he is gone. And Irondequoit strikes first. It was 7-all in the second, though, until Fuquan Peace explodes through the hole, gives us a little wave, and a piece of advice, kids, if you wave to the camera, you're going to make it on the news. But Spencerport had the final celebration. There was under a minute to play when Taj Snow punches it in. Extra point gave the Rangers the lead, and Spencerport holds on for the 21-20 win.
All right, also East High hosting McQuaid. Big RCAC matchup. Eagles, first drive. Raheem Gaydon. Watch this run. He's going to reverse field. They can't bring him down. Look at the move coming up here. Big gainer for Gaydon. And then later, Gaydon's going to look and find Jordan Adele. Now watch this one. He's going to bobble it, but he's still going to come up with it for the touchdown. And it is 7-0 East, but McQuaid got an interception, got the Jesuit Knights going, and then Jake Zimmer, pure power, getting it to the end zone. McQuaid sneaks one out, wins it 28-27. Hey, Pittsford put on another show tonight. Toby Matika's got the highlights.
Mike, out of all the teams that won their openers just a week ago, perhaps the 2 most impressive teams were Pittsford and Rush-Henrietta. We'll start with Pittsford, who put up 70 last week. What would the Panthers do for an encore against Schroeder? Well, we start with a little defense. Andrew Millen under pressure, trying to throw the screen, but it's going to be picked off by Michael Giantelli. His second interception of the first quarter sets up this drive. 2 plays later, Robbie Kleinhammer going deep for Josh Mack, having an absolutely monster start to the season. 4 touchdowns last week, 2 in the first quarter tonight. It's 29-0 Panthers. Then midway through the second, Kleinhammer again dropping one just over the coverage to Riley Cott. Panthers win 50-14. How about Rush-Henrietta? Royal Comets visiting Fairport. Red Raiders with a big deficit to start the second half, but Jihadi Pryor bursting through the hole, almost untouched, cuts into that deficit. But still, it was 35-7, and RH would respond. Gavin McDonald, big gainer to the outside, would lead to a Royal Comet field goal, and then the defense would take it from there. Red Raiders looking downfield, beautifully broken up by Ja'Shawn Smith. RH wins 38-13, Mike. Royal Comets hosting Pittsford for homecoming next weekend in the best matchup of the young season so far.
All right, Toby, we continue at Gage Chai Live. The Spartans were hosting Hilton tonight. Let's pick that up under the lights this evening. Hilton already up 7-0. Jonathan Letta throws it up. Bailey Pittman comes down with it. That set up a short TD run. Spartans answer. Stephen Flammy here takes the shot from his lineman, but still gets to the end zone to cut the deficit. Less than a minute to go in the first half. Letta throwing it again, this time to David Guest, who stretches out and makes the catch. Cadets roll 41-14. Brockport on their home field this evening against the Braves of Canandaigua. Brockport's first drive of the second half. Sophomore Ashton Scott hits Raphael Odie across the middle. That's a big gainer. That sets up a short TD run. Now, Canandaigua making a comeback. Karan Broomfield here is going to break through the crowd. And watch him reach to the end zone, and he will get in. But after another Broomfield touchdown, cut the deficit to 5. Josh Keenan puts the Braves away for good with 2 minutes left. Breaking this one for 6 points. Brockport holds on to win it tonight. The final 33-28. We've got HFL at Eastridge tonight in this one. Opening kickoff of this one. Johnny Alcorn, 85 yards for the score to make it 7-0. And then with 35 seconds to go in the half, Jake Trunowski here, 19-yard TD run to make it 9-7 at the break. Next, Lancers possession. Bobby Albritton going to go 68 yards to Shalimar Curry for the score. Eastridge gets the win tonight, 30-16. All of those highlights on 13 WHAM.
2 weeks into the Section 5 football season, we're already starting to see the top teams separate themselves from the rest of the field. Perhaps the tippy top is Aquinas. Jake Zimbeck and the Little Irish making their home debut after winning at the Carrier Dome last week. Delaware Valley didn't stand a chance, up 7-0 in the second. Taylor Riggins, Syracuse bound back, bounces off a hit, keeps balance, scores 13-0 AQ. Next possession, it's that dude Zimbeck, and if he doesn't look like a Division I guy in that pocket, who does? Finds Ernest Edwards for the touchdown. AQ up 3 scores. Delaware Valley now driving in the final 2 minutes. Not anymore. Jameer Jones heading to Notre Dame to do that. Chase the QB, gets the sack, and Jameer wasn't done. AQ gets the ball back. Final seconds of the first half. Zimbeck buys time, heaves it towards the end zone. Tipped right into the hands of Jones. It's a Catholic school. Why not? Only makes sense they'd complete the Hail Mary. Aquinas rolls 33-8. Kenny Speed and Grease Athena trying to build on their big season opener against Olympia. Down 21-0 in the first. Spartans trying to climb back. Sophomore Ronell Joseph fakes the handoff, then hits Tremaine Moore over the middle for the diving grab. Great catch, but doesn't lead to points. And in the second, Athena's Tavon Granison takes over. Fakes the handoff to Speed, sprints down the far sideline, pushes his blockers in front of him on the way to 6. And more where that came from. In the third, it's Granison again. One more time, fakes the handoff, leaves a defender in the dust at the line and gets into the end zone. Athena shuts out the Spartans today, 34-0. RCAC game, Wilson taking on leadership. First drive for Wilson, James Cotton looking for Royal Carmichael and finds him. Touchdown makes it 6-0. We don't usually show you two-point conversions, but when it's Marvin Appleberry, we do. Look at the effort. Drives the pile, pushes it in for 2. It's 8-0 Wildcats. A pick 6 made it 16-0 Wilson. Then it's Isaiah Benjamin. 3 TDs on 2 offensive possessions for Wilson, and the Wildcats win easily today, 46-0.
All right, it's Friday. You know Section 5 football tonight, so turn the lights on, welcome the crowd. Get set for some good matchups tonight, including Victor, unbeaten. Churchville-Chili looking for its first win tonight. We'll go to the first quarter of this one. Dan Barrow's going to take the handoff, and he's going to sprint through the hole. 62 yards later, he finds the end zone. It's a 7-0 lead for the Blue Devils. Next possession, Jamie Trimboli going to air it out and look for the big guy, Zach Lefebvre, and he uses that 6'5" frame to go up and get it. Pull it in. Down near the goal line, sets up the touchdown. Second quarter, Tristan Ireland, 32 yards, untouched. Blue Devils win it big tonight, the final 49-9. How about Penfield and Schroeder? A pair of teams looking for their first win in the early season. Schroeder up 10-3 at the half, and they add to it right away. Andrew Millen to Brandon Gartland here, just over the goal line, 17-3. But the Patriots respond with this. Third and long, Peter Schwab to Zach Leinenbach. What a throw! 61-yard TD. It's a 17-9 game. After a Warriors fumble, Patriots in business. Schwab under pressure. He's going to try to get out of it. Great effort, but he's going to be brought down just short of the first down. The drive would stall. Webster Schroeder holds on to win it tonight, the final 17-9. How about Brighton hosting Irondequoit in this one? We'll go to the fourth quarter. Eagles with a big lead, and Kevin Ladd going to cut into it with a 4-yard plunge, and he gets in, but not nearly enough offense for the Barons tonight. Snap goes high, and the Barons are just met by a swarm of Eagles. Irondequoit, a big winner tonight, the final 37-7. We've got Webster Thomas meeting Hilton tonight. Thomas on the move in this one. Brendan Smith's going to roll to his right. Now watch him stop right before the line, let it fly, and it's going to be caught for the touchdown. Makes it 14-13 as Sean Kenyon makes the play. But later, here comes this play. Jonathan Letta lets it fly, and Bailey Pittman does the work. Leaps over the defender. He's gone 84 yards for the score. Letta runs in for 3 scores later. Hilton wins it big tonight. The final 41-13.
Now, 13 Wham Sports, driven by Bob Johnson Chevrolet.
You know, we had a hunch that Rush-Henrietta and Pittsford might be the game of the year in Section 5 so far, and our hunch turned out to be right. To RH, we go unbeaten and 9th-ranked Panthers visiting unbeaten and 11th-ranked Royal Comets on a wet homecoming day. Bad weather pushed back the start of the second half, but once they got going, the Royal Comets fired the engines right up. Already up a score when Jared Gerbino hits JoJo Ortiz, laying out for the grab. Get muddy, kid. Royal Comets up 13, looking like they're going to run away with it. But after a Panthers score and stop, flapjacks. Josh Mack following a Jake Malinich pancake block, untouched into the end zone. Pittsford was back on top. But that celebration, mighty short-lived. Next RH drive, guess who? Gerbino, Ortiz, chemistry class. Those two elements go together very nicely. Royal Comets take the lead back in the fourth. But Mack and Pittsford came to play spoiler. And on the next drive, that's what they did. Mack, if you don't know, had a game. 184 yards, 4 TDs, and this last one put Pittsford back on top and sealed a very impressive 36-33 come-from-behind win.
We seemed down for a minute, but I tried to tell my line, stop the negativity, just play ball, keep our composure, and we'll come back. That's what happened. But we still have a lot to do. Today was an eye-opener, big eye-opener.
It was great to see us fight back from a deficit. We made mistakes. For the kids to rally and not get down on each other, that was something we haven't seen in a long time, and hopefully we won't have to see again for a little while. But that's a great football team, and that's what happens in great football team matchups.
If you do see it again, probably in the playoffs. What a game. There was other football. 1-1 Canandaigua, 2-0 Athena. Braves trying to even up those two records today. Mitch Schaefer doing his part on the QB keeper. 34-7 Canandaigua at the half, feeling that homecoming energy. Athena would score in the third, but in the fourth, Braves come right back. Schaefer to Carson Green. That would lead to a touchdown. Canandaigua up to 2-1. They take it 41-14. Eastridge at Greece to take on Arcadia. First quarter, 3-0 Eastridge with the lead. The Titans, though, going deep. Fidel Norris pass almost picked, but instead look at Xavier McGee. go up, juggle it, take it away. That kind of vaulted the Titans in this one because they played one of their best games in a few years maybe. This run, next play, Cole Norris Jr., 30 yards. This is a big win for Arcadia. Titans take it, and how? 35-3. UPrep downtown taking on Bishop Kearney at Salem Stadium today. This was scoreless with 1 second to go in the first one. Gregory Faust hooking up with Janathan Williams, who rolls through, celebrates. UPrep had an 8-zip lead going into the locker room. Didn't last long coming out, though. BK's first drive of the second half, Todd LaRocca, Justin Davis, thing of beauty, ties it up at 8. Kings offense kept going, and the defense clamped down. Kearney gets the win 22-8.
13 Wham Sports, driven by Bob Johnson Chevrolet.
We have reached the midway point of the Section 5 football season, and we're going to kick it off with a possible Class C championship preview, which is, of course, a rematch of last year's game. Leroy and Bath both unbeaten, both ranked as some of the top teams in the state, but one right now clearly stronger than the other, at least tonight. Bath up 8-0 in the second. Patrick Brewer takes the carry up the middle. He may be big, but he's fast as well. Sprints to the end zone. Rams add the 2-point conversion. They go up by 16 points, ensuing Leroy possession. Knights going for it on 4th down, but Tyler Finch and Tyler Vogt. Oh, just nothing you can do about that if you're the Leroy quarterback. And on the very next play, Michael Rice, simple quarterback keeper, but Bath is huge up front. He follows those big bodies. Bath looks like they are a big-time team this year. They beat Leroy tonight 32-6. Braden's and Elevict and Wayne hosting ER Gananda after a last-minute win against them last season. First quarter, handoff to ER's Cam Cleveland, finds an inch of space on the sideline, use it to find a whole lot of green grass. 55-yard touchdown sprint. East Rochester Gananda on top. On to the second. Handoff for the Bombers, this time to Tyler Chavez. Earns another helmet sticker, at least you'd like to think. Brutish run later in the quarter. ER piling it on at this point. Sophomore Pat Shanley airing it out to John Harmer. Doing the rest, catch and run. Goodbye. Bombers dominate tonight 53-13. Earl English and Wilson taking on another of the city's best in McQuaid. These two figure to be near or at the top of the RCAC. Wildcats trying for the pass in the first here, but Matt Majera ramping up the QB. Knights had 4 sacks in the first half, but not enough points. Wilson on 4th and 1 in the second. Isaiah Benjamin, first down, gets a lot more than that, though. He's getting the first score for Wilson, the only score for Wilson. That was the game winner. Wildcats take down McQuaid tonight 8-7. Some more scores. Batavia 42-zip winner. Brockport continues a strong start 20-6. Livonia bounces back from a loss last week to roll Letchworth and Geneva. A nice strong showing against Palmac. Victor's cheerleaders have been doing a whole lot of this. One push-up for every point. The Blue Devils score every time they go. It's kind of like the Oregon Ducks, and they scored a lot against Schroeder tonight. Jamie Trimboli finds the not-so-mini Gronk. Zach LaFave snagging out of midair. Victor in business later in the drive. Simple. Handoff. Dan Barrow works his way through. Came up a little limp on the play, but was feeling good after that. It's 21-0 Blue Devils. Second quarter, Trimboli airing it out for Mitch Kane. We wouldn't be showing it to you if something good didn't happen. Down at the 2-yard line, Jamie Trimboli would score it a couple plays later, and Victor wins 38-7. Homecoming at Churchville-Chili. Hilton, though, of course, trying to make that miserable. First Cadets possession, Jonathan Letta keeps it himself. Zigs, zags, touchdown. Hilton would pile it on from that point on. Next Cadet drive, Letta doing it through the air this time. Deep for Bailey Pittman. Perfect pass and a nice catch. Tough to grab those over the shoulder near the sideline for the touchdown. And still in the first, this time Dylan Philman straight up the gut. He's going to put this one in as well. Hilton looking real good this year. They roll past Churchville-Chili 55-3. Webster Thomas in Titan Stadium hosting Gates-Chili this evening. Third quarter, it's Brendan Smith using the nice protection from his line to sling it over the defense to Sean O'Brien. No need to look back when you know you got 66 yards with nothing in front of you. Touchdown, Thomas. They take the lead. Coming the other way now for Gates-Chili. Spartans with the pitch to a big man, Anthony Stallworth. Galloping, putting on the afterburners, dragging defenders down near the end zone. Oh, but he wouldn't score, and they'd need him to. Titans would stop him on that drive, and they end up winning 34-10. Big plays upon big plays when HFL and Canandaigua get together. Courtesy here, Mitch Schaefer and Layman Castine. 45 yards for the hookup, 13-0 Canandaigua late first. Looks like they're going to roll, but second quarter, Cougars have closed the gap to 13-6. Johnny Alcorn, the lob, Justice Watts. Looks like it's picked, but justice for all, at least for HFL. He somehow came down with that. The refs say touchdown, and suddenly it's a tie game. But hold on, same combo as before. Schaefer to Castine. Watch this move at the end by Castine. Oh, goodbye. Canandaigua wins. They improved to 3-1, 55-20. Speaking of highlights, we got those for you here, too. How about some high school football? Aquinas has looked every bit as good as the hype said they should against St. Francis today. Up 7-0, Jake Zembeck, Penn State, Jameer Jones, Notre Dame. We're still friends, guys, at least for about 3 more months. Finding him on the near sideline. Aquinas up by 2 scores. Gimme more, says Jameer. Instead, this time Zembeck's going to Ernest Edwards. No hesitation. Tight spiral in stride. Yeah, good luck, D1. For now, good luck, New York State. Aquinas wins 48-7. Ricky Hober and Pittsford trying to keep it rolling for themselves. Undefeated season. Taking on Fairport at homecoming. Under a minute to go in the second, though. Red Raiders trying to spoil it for the Panthers, just like Pittsford did for RH. That's a quarterback keeper, cutting Pittsford's lead to 7 heading into the second half. However, Robbie Kleinhammer and the Panthers just too much. Isaiah Brown in double coverage. Who cares? That set up the touchdown, and Pittsford takes it today 31-14. Greece Athena trying to bounce back from a blowout loss to Canandaigua last week, taking on Spencerport today. It's 21-7 Trojans in the third, but it's the Rangers. That sneaky offense. Taj Snow ends up with the ball, 5-yard score. It's 21-14. But after Spencerport muffed to punt, it's Tavon Granison. We saw him with a 98-yarder earlier this year. Oh, actually, first the sack by Spencerport. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Now we're going to go to the muff punt. Whoops. Copied my scripts over a little too early. It's muffed by Spencerport. Athena jumps on it, recovers it. Yeah, ref signals Athena ball. Now we're going to get to Tavon Granison. He doesn't get sacked this time. Looks like he should have. It's the same exact play. Now you know why I was confused. So was Spencerport. He breaks free, scores the touchdown as time expires, and Athena wins 41-21. Let's hope this one goes smoother. Homecoming for Eastridge against Brighton. Lancers up 27-21. When Shea McDonald, Brighton sniffing the upset just like Arcadia sniffed it last week. 65 yards, 28-27. Barons leading at Eastridge. But on the ensuing kickoff, oh, those little bouncers. You figure your coverage is going to get down there, but Rayshad Smith says, forget your coverage. I smell the end zone. Too fast, too furious. Well, let's go with it. 70 yards, that's the game winner. Eastridge wins on homecoming, 35-28. It felt like mid-November tonight, didn't it? But we are still far from the end of the Section 5 football season. Lots of work to be done by lots of teams and plenty of statements to be made by squads like Pittsford. The Panthers hosting Orchard Park in a top 6 Class AA matchup. We're tied up at 7 in the first when Dylan Janka keeping it, scoring it. Orchard Park going up a touchdown on the host Panthers. Quakers would actually make it a 2-score game before Pittsford showed some guts. 4th and 2, Josh Mack had 49 carries for more than 350 yards. That's 3 games of NFL work. That led to a TD. Then later on, the reverse. Colby Barker, oh, he's got it. Walking into the end zone. He also had a 70-yard pick 6. Pittsford stays unbeaten on the comeback, 41-28. Hey, Victor fans are awfully excited about their team's 4-0 start. They'd get really excited if they could beat Rush-Henrietta tonight. Scoreless in the first. That's Jamie Trimboli. He's keeping it. They fake the end around. Trimboli, he's a good lacrosse player, pretty good quarterback too. Victor takes a 7-0 lead. Jared Gerbino, the RH quarterback, he fought off injury to play. And he keeps it on the read option. That's what we call textbook in the business. We were tied at 7. But later on in the second, Dan Barrow taking the handoff for Victor, scooting it outside, quick stiff arm, too fast to the corner. Victor would add one more, and they get a big win over RH, 21-7. Victor's going to play Hilton next week. Cadets 4-0, had to get by McQuaid first. 4th down for Hilton near midfield in the first quarter. Zach Thorpe keeping it instead of kicking it. Good decision. Making one man miss, making a couple more. Yeah, he's behind the coaches, would eventually be tackled at the 5. And 2 plays later, Dylan Philman. Easy touchdown run, 7-zip Cadets lead. The offense would stall for the rest of the first, but the defense didn't give an inch. Brandon Cutter knifing through the defense. Hilton's offense does pick up steam in the second. They stay unbeaten, 30-0. Aquinas visiting fellow unbeaten Bishop Timon out near Buffalo tonight, but I got to tell you, Little Irish really in charge. But still, Timon would come back a little bit. Down big in the third, Tigers get a score to make it 21-6. But Jake Zembeck, Ernest Edwards, this is like good old Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison stuff. Just these two have been connecting all year. That's a big one. They had 3 today, and AQ rolls to 5-0, 28-6. We got some other scoreboards to show you. Clyde Savannah, big win over Mid-Lakes. Livonia, a bigger winner over Dansville. Newark tops Wayne 21-7, and Hornell, showing shades of the old Red Raiders, beat Leroy 14-7. At Brockport, maybe the class of Class A. Brighton had an upset on its mind today. 13-7 Blue Devils in the third. Josh Keenan gets it down at the 2. Still, you felt like the Blue Devils were going to punch it in. It's a good offense, but Brighton would hold. Raphael Odie going to be ruled out just before the pylon. Barons would get a goal line stand to stay in this game, and it was still a 6-point game with 4 minutes to go. 4th down, Austin Carr's pass. It's there, but it was not caught. Would have been a tough grab. Blue Devils got the ball. They never gave it back. They hang on 13-7. The Wilson Wildcats on the road this evening, heading to Irondequoit. We'll pick it up second quarter. Handoff's going to go to Earl English. Going to break it to the far pylon. This is what we call getting horizontal, just parallel to the ground. Stretches it across for the Wilson touchdown. On the other end, though, the defending Section 5 champs, Frederick Jr. up from JV behind center, keeping it for himself, breaks a couple of tackles. He should be staying on varsity after that one. Eagles come away with a tight 13-12 victory. Raheem Gaydon and East High hosting Webster Schroeder on senior night for the Eagles. First quarter, Warriors moving around in the pocket, but here comes Marshall Malik getting his arm out there and getting the sack, showing the fans how filling that play was. Rub the belly, feed the big man. Now in the second, Schroeder going up top, but there's Gaydon reaching for the big interception. Yeah, we showed it to you earlier because you figure he's going to make a play. East High takes this one over Schroeder, 14-8. More scores yet. Thomas right now on top of Penfield. That was in the 4th last we checked it. While Fairport, not a misprint. They explode against Churchville-Chili. HFL picks up a 40-point win of their own, and Gates-Chili wins a high-scoring affair with Edison. And the state's top-ranked Class D team, that's in Avon. They're on the road at fellow unbeaten Cal-Mum. This one was pretty one-sided. Avon up 14 in the first half. First play of the second, Zach Loomis, 60-yard TD. Pink Sox digging them. Good statement, untouched as well. Avon suddenly up 3 scores after a Cal-Mum turnover. Next drive, Loomis in close. Avon is for real, folks. The #1 team in the state looks the part, 27-0. We were at Pittsford-Sutherland earlier. Now Jack Sutherland and Notre Dame at Kearney. First drive for the Kings in the third, Todd LaRocca. You know he can sling it, airing it out, near sideline. Eric Carter in stride, 6 points. Easy pitch and catch for Kearney. Notre Dame trying to get some offense going. But from behind, the ball is poked out, and who's coming out of the pile with it? Shane Noble. A noble effort with the fumble recovery. Yeah, you see him. Here he comes. Kings double up Notre Dame, 30-15. We kick off week 5 of the Section 5 season with one of the big surprises in Class A. That'd be Canandaigua. Always solid, but started the year with a loss. Well, they're 3-1 now, taking on also 3-1 Eastridge. Lancers having no problems against the Braves early. Bobby Albritton keeps it and leaps it. That's a touchdown. Eastridge up 13, but then the Braves just kind of woke up, opened their eyes. Mitch Schaefer just before the end of the half. They only get a hand on him right at the end, not nearly enough. Canandaigua led by 1 at the break, and then the Braves pull away in the second. Corin Broomfield dragging dudes with him. Look at the jersey, V-neck style. Canandaigua gets the big win, 49-19. It was homecoming today for Anthony Finucane and Arcadia. Huge matchup versus another of Class A's best, Athena. Of course, also a crosstown rival. 6 minutes left in the second. Noah Bernard from Arcadia Sneakerooski behind a couple of linemen to tie it at 7. Couple minutes, though, into the third. Tavon Granison for Athena. Keeps it himself. Breaks one tackle. We're going second level, making a couple more Titans run into each other before he's pushed out of bounds in the red zone. And on the next play, he just kind of saunters towards the far sideline and hits his favorite target, Kenny Speed. Putting on the burners. That would give them the lead. Last chance for Arcadia now, 4th and long. Bernard pumping once, putting it up. Granison's a good quarterback, even better DB. Great interception seals the deal. Trojans squeak it out today, 14-7, the final. East Rochester get on to unbeaten entering tonight. Palmac, though, struck first. Brandon Hawkins scoring from 1 yard out. Palmac had the early lead, but that lead would not last because Cam Cleveland, not a boy, not a dude. He's a man. He's got the hair of a man, too. You see it flowing behind him. Not on that run necessarily, but on this run. Far sideline, there he goes. There's the hair. Cam Cleveland, number 1, second touchdown in a row. Bombers weren't done. Tyler Chavez right up the gut. He's almost untouched here, and goodbye. So long. East Rochester, a huge winner. They look real good through 5 weeks, 52-6. Earlier in the day, Class D powerhouse Red Jacket hosting Marcus Whitman. RJ already up a touchdown when Sean Sheets gets the carry, and he's still carrying. Gets tripped up there, turns him back on, outruns the defense 60 yards, and there was plenty more where those yards came from. Next, Red Jacket drive, Thomas Palmieri hooking up with Dan Colacerto. Deep ball. That's good. Red Jacket up 3 scores in the first quarter, and just a couple plays later, Sheets again, this time on the defensive end, stepping in front of it, and he's going to weave his way downfield and score. Red Jacket wins easily today, 48-14. Attica on the road in a wet one against Elba Byron-Bergen. First quarter, Attica's own Paul Bunyan. Yes, Attica's Paul Bunyan. Alex Pacheco getting the carry. Big tree falling hard right through the defense. That made it 7-0 Blue Devils. Then in the second, pitch to Hunter McCullough. To the right, to the left, to the house. That would double the lead. Attica wasn't just offense today, by the way. The Lancers just couldn't find an open receiver. And then a crowd, including Nick Shadbolt. Coverage for the Shakalak job here. Blue Devils get the job done, and easily, 27-6.
Nobody knows if the high school football rivalry will last, but Cal-Mum and Leroy playing tonight again. 50 straight years. Let's go to the highlights tonight of that one to begin our high school highlights tonight. And the rivals getting together in the third quarter. The Owatkin Knights up 21-3. Going from side to side in the pocket, but Matt Breshew here is going to jump over a teammate and get the big sack. We go to the fourth. Leroy trying the screen pass behind the line. Incomplete, but that's a lateral. Robert Voos knows the rules. He recovers the fumble right there. Less than a minute left. Josh Laurie hitting Ryan Boyce across the middle. He's going to the end zone. Leroy beats their rivals tonight, the final 28-3. Other scores in Section 5 tonight, including Batavia big, and how about Newark by a point over Palmac. But maybe the best matchup was Clyde, Savannah, and Lions. Those rivals 17-0. Clyde wins it, and Attica beats Batavia Notre Dame 20-13. Now to the rivals tonight. We've got a good one for you. Tonight is the Cadets of Hilton at home against Victor. John Doss has our story.
Mike, we talked last week about how Hilton always seems to sneak up on Section 5, and here they are again this year at 5-0. But through 5 weeks of the season, the Cadets had yet to be tested until tonight. Hilton hosting fellow unbeaten Victor. Winner takes the Monroe County Division II regular season crown. It was just a 2-point Victor lead at halftime. But shortly after the Blue Devils scored on a block punt, the Victor defense forces the fumble, and Dan Barrow scoops and scores. Just like that, Devils up 2 touchdowns. Look like this one might get away from the Cadets, but think again. John Letta hooks up with Bailey Pittman for the 50-yard catch and score, and that's how things went the rest of the way, punch for punch. But this one would prove to be the difference. Jamie Trimboli keeps it himself into the end zone. Victor wins 42-34. The Devils stay undefeated and win Monroe County's Division II title. At Spencerport, the Rangers looking for an upset of Class A's second-seeded Canandaigua. Braves' first drive, and you really got to wrap up Karan Broomfield, or he's going to do this. Schleff's off tacklers, takes it to the house. Canandaigua takes the early 7-0 lead. But on the ensuing kickoff, T.J. Jones. Well, this isn't the first time he's done this year. He's gone. TJ ties it up for Spencerport. Another game that went blow for blow tonight, but Ben Smith-Wilcox with the exclamation, and the Braves outlast Spencerport on the road.
All right, John, how about unbeaten Brockport at Eastridge tonight? Let's pick up the highlights of that one. We'll show it to you. Final play of the first half. Ashton Scott looking for Raphael O'Day, and he is there to make the catch. Brockport takes the lead and goes on to the victory tonight. The final, Brockport takes it by a score of 19-7. How about Pittsford without their star, Josh Mack tonight, starting Marquise Carter at running back against Thomas. Not even 2 minutes in, Carter gets his chance and makes the most of it. He gets a big hole to run through, and he is gone. Touchdown sprint there for Pittsford. Later in the first, Carter's going to bust through a pair at the line, breaks a tackle, rumbles to the second level for the first down. Now, he'd sustain an injury on the next play, but the Panthers kept the drive alive. Robbie Kleinhammer fakes the handoff, rolls out, pass to Chris Whitting for the score. Pittsford rolls tonight, the final 40-7.
For now, though, they look to keep the challenge trophy in their rivalry game with McQuaid. One day the Knights will get that back, but today was not that day. Jake Zembeck flushed from the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, finds Jalen Pickett, who stretches out for the score. AQ offense just getting the ball rolling. Taylor Riggins now, speaking of rolling, that's what this man does. Heading through the line, stiff arm and one, and taking it to the end zone. Irish led 14-0 after one. Second quarter now, play action. Zembeck, Jameer Jones, can you get more wide open? I don't believe so. And then more from these two. Same combo, but this time watch Jameer hit the old trucky sticky. Oh, he barely even slows down, and he's gone. 69 yards, goodbye. Zembeck had more than 300 yards and 4 TDs in the first half. He didn't play in the second. Aquinas keeps that trophy 48-7. Rush-Henrietta on a gorgeous afternoon, as we all know, against Webster. Schroeder, third quarter, Warriors passing. Stephen Clark, though, intercepting, and pretty good because look at his one hand. That's the old club. Welcome, young man. Very next play, RH's Jared Gerbino to Jay Sean Smith over the top of the D. Nice catch. Just past the outstretched arms of the defender. 38-10. Schroeder trying to make a comeback now. Andrew Millen rolling off his back foot. Amari Jones, helmet gone, not the football though. That's a touchdown, but the next drive for RH Gerbino, that dual threat QB, here's the dual part, running it all the way, weaving through, powering his way in. Comets roll 52-24. RCAC game over at East High. Eagles hosting Wilson, two of the top teams in the league. Scoreless in the second when Tykel Banks, that was easy enough, but Wilson would miss the extra point. That was important because East put the clamps down from then on. Marshall Malik with the sack. East would get a touchdown late, and they pull off the win by that extra point. 7-6. The Livonia Bulldogs hosting Wayland Cohocton on a homecoming Saturday for them. Always good is this Livonia team. Late first quarter pitch to sophomore Matt Hyde. Alley-oop. Jumps one, then breaks two. Livonia takes the lead. It's 14-0 Bulldogs in the second. Going to try the reverse, but Jeff Hunt, watch this, is a smart little play. Just reaches in there and pokes it out. Waco falls on the fumble, and they take over. Ensuing drive, they make good on that. Going short pass to Austin Hamilton. Pushes one teammate in front of him, kind of little bit of Notre Dame USC circa 10 years ago. 6 points there. Livonia, though, would answer. Bulldogs in close. John Greeley tripped up but gets across for the touchdown. Livonia wins running away today. 57-16. It's a final week of the Section 5 football regular season. We couldn't go an entire year without a wet, cold night of football, could we? Rush-Henrietta at Hilton for a battle of two of Class AA's best. Third quarter, though, it's Hilton's Dylan Philman. This guy had a game. 48 yards on this particular run, but more impressive, it was his fourth touchdown of the day. Hilton was running away with this thing figuratively and literally, but the Royal Comets, you know they're coming back. Down 3 scores now. Jared Gerbino keeping it, running it. Dual threat. Only needs the legs. That would lead to a touchdown, but once again, it's Hilton and Philman. That's a mouthful. This time in the fourth quarter, his 5th touchdown of the game puts it away for the Cadets. They're for real, folks. They finish off a great regular season, 34-24. How about those new lights in Penfield getting a little bit of taste of the showers against Pittsford? Josh Mack back behind the quarterback this week, playing with his cast on his hand, broken hand, missed last week's game. Bad news for everyone else is it's not on his foot. He is something else. 7-0 Pittsford after one. Penfield moves into Pittsford territory in the second, but did not last. Pittsford getting the sack. Dante Bucci, one of many there. And on the first play after that, Robbie Kleinhammer airing it out. Kobe Barker, woof, woof. Pittsford wins running away from Penfield tonight, 42-0. A surprise, it was also wet at Churchville-Chili. They took on the Webster Thomas Titans. Titanic rolling downfield early. Patrick Vandermark, the carry. Look at him protect that old pigskin. Both hands on the football. It's wet, it's slippery. He's not fumbling. Not long after, Brendan Smith now strutting from one side of the pocket to the goal line. Doubles the Titans lead. And right after a fumble recovery, yeah, you get the idea. A fourth score for the Titans in the first. This time it's Jacob Fostick getting it home. Webster Thomas took their foot off the gas a little, but still win easily today over the Churchville-Chili Saints, 31-7. Victor and Gates-Chili, those cheerleaders doing a lot of push-ups for the Blue Devils because they score a lot of points. Mitch Spindler trying to help his team's cause, bounces it outside. He ain't going to score, but he's coming close. Hello, photographer. Sets up this. Dan Barrow. Muscle, 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 and full. Squeaks it out in Leroy. Nice win for them. And Fairport got hot at the end of the year. They take it 41-27 over Schroeder. Matchup of unbeatens. Irondequoit, Penn Yan, Bombers. To beat them, you have to do a couple of things. One of those things is tackle Cam Cleveland. With his hair, he's the Tim Riggins of Section 5. Texas forever. Big gain on 3rd and 1, dragging defenders near the red zone. You also, by the way, have to tackle Tyler Chavez, or at least touch him. Quick 10-yard burst, Bombers up 22-6. 2-minute offense for Penn Yan, though, effective. Little screen pass to Dylan Stape. Caution, slippery when wet. Gets his team back within 10 points on the spectacular play, but the Bombers way too much in the second half. Irondequoit prevails 41-18. Aquinas and Canisius grabbed the headlines on this final Section 5 Saturday of the regular season, but they just kicked off a few minutes ago. Plenty of other Week 7 football to get to, starting with a tour of Greece. Ah, yes. Athena hosting Brockport, a team trying to finish 7-0. First drive for the Blue Devils. Lasted 8 minutes, and it was 8 minutes well spent. Ashton Scott to Jeremy Michaels. PAT no good. It's 6-0. Athena's first possession. 4th down for them. Tavon Granison. He does this. Just looks like he's going to throw, fakes everybody out, and then scampers his way on through. PAT good, so they're up 7-6. Brockport driving now, final seconds of the half. Scott looking end zone, and look who's there. Granison, QB turned DB, eventually would be tackled no matter. Athena hands Brockport its first loss, 21-12. Arcadia having a great year, but they found themselves down 7 at half against Spencerport, and the Rangers start with the ball, but uh-oh, fumble. Look who's there to recover it. Nick Himes. Titans with a chance to start the half off right, and they do. Nora Bernard to Nick Toomey on the rollout pass, and Toomey with the nice little sliding catch. Holds on to it. Arcadia, though, still down 1. But after another fumble, they get it back, and on 4th down, Bernard to Xavier McGee. Catches McGee. 2-point successful, 21-14 Arcadia. Spencerport offense would rumble its way down in the 4th. They don't throw a lot, but Alton Jones wants it. He's hit as he throws, just doesn't get enough on it. Reggie Clark coming up with the interception. Titans win 21-14. An up and down season for Eastridge. Lancers, though, ending up on an up note today at Olympia. First possession, Bobby Albritton. This team has no shortage of playmakers. That hasn't been their issue. They're just on some weeks and off others. Albritton cruises in for 6, 7-0. And now it's C.J. Turner time. 44 yards on the punt return. He ends up running about 70, it feels like, and the Lancers win running away 49-14. Canandaigua's been stellar this year, but look out. Here comes the defending Section 5 champs, Irondequoit. They're starting to really play well. Sean Mannion to Tyshawn Sizer. Look at this catch. Stanford, what? The drive would stall, but you have to show that because it's a wee bit highlight worthy. Irondequoit now up 1 in the 3rd. It's Mannion. Them legs, though. Running it far sideline and into the end zone for 6. 13-6, Eagles had the lead. They're up 10 now. Canandaigua coming back. Mitch Schaefer, Carson Green. Got ourselves a 3-point game, but on the other end, Irondequoit too much. Chris DeCesar mashes his way in for what would prove to be the clincher. Irondequoit takes it 23-20. Real good matchup in Red Jacket as well. Jared Fennell and Clyde Savannah visiting that team. First drive, Thomas Palmieri. Stopped initially, but keep the legs churning. Pushes his way through for the easy score. Oh, not so easy. 7-0. Hold up, though. Fennell to Ryan Garrett. In your kitchen, he doesn't care if you invited him to dinner or not. Tied at 7 on the spectacular deep grab. Golden Eagles now trailing later in the second. Same combo. This would set up the tying TD. We're tied at 14 at half, but all Red Jacket the last 24 minutes. Palmieri to Chris Amos. Amos, famous now. A lot of room to run. Red Jacket wins 28-14. Aquinas and Canisius grab the headlines on this, the final Section 5 Saturday of the regular season. Two of the best teams in the country, let alone the state, meeting in Rochester tonight. Number 1 versus number 3. Jake Zembeck broke his wrist against this team last year, so he handed off a lot to Taylor Riggins. He's going to Syracuse. You see why. Big, fast, scoring touchdowns. There's the first one. Here comes number 2. This time just fights through about 6 white shirts. He's still standing. That's another touchdown. But kickoff coming up after that. Aquinas now up 2 scores. Hold the phone. Jordan Fears, fear not, guys. I got this. Can't corral it initially, but then jet time. One man to beat, that'd be the kicker. And valiant effort. But he beats him. Nobody's catching him. 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Cuts the deficit in half. Maybe gives them the momentum. But Aquinas blocked a kick. And then in the second, another one to Riggins. Absorbs the contact. Then takes the points. Third TD trot of the half. Lil Irish. That's a statement. 42-14.
Sports, driven by Bob Johnson Chevrolet.
The Section 5 football postseason started tonight. The precursor to the state playoffs are the Connors and Ferris Bowls, and we've got 3 of them for you tonight. Webster, Schroeder, and Gates Chili, the AA 10-11 matchup. Early in the first, Gates' Anthony Stallworth with the carry, rumbling through a trio of potential tacklers to start off the scoring in those Gates Chili Penn State unis. Then in the second, Schroeder's Andrew Millen tosses it to the end zone. Number 7 must have liked what he saw. So does Tyler Gandus. He comes down with the touchdown catch. Then later in the second, Stephen Fiame of the Spartans keeps it, weaves through a crowd, and stays on his feet, squeezes between a couple of Warriors at the end for the long gain. Gates was good in all 3 phases of the first half. Kickoff goes to Schroeder, but can't hang on to it. And Josh Garnham jumps on it. Gates led at the half, but Schroeder gets 5 touchdowns in the second half to win it 42-20. So the Warriors will play the winner of this one next week. Penfield traveled to McQuaid to take on the Jesuit Knights. McQuaid's first drive of the game. The Knights go right down the field, and John Caranci punches it in at the goal line. McQuaid up 7-0. Ensuing Penfield drive. Boy, the Patriots just had a tough time moving the ball all night. Demetrius Breedlove chases down the quarterback. Nick St. Clair finishes him off for the big sack. It was 10-0 later in the first half. 3rd and long for McQuaid. Deep in Penfield territory, Mike Howland going up top for Matt Ceromi for the score. McQuaid wins big, 43-0 against Penfield. Shamir Broiled and HFL hosted UPrep this evening. He likes the camera. UPrep up 7-6 early. Amari Donaldson gets the rock. Looks like he wants to go far side, but keeps cutting to the near sideline, and he's in for 6. A lot of UPrep scores today. Cougars had one here trying to answer. Dan Hart behind center immediately throws it back. Pylon and Broiled muscles towards the ball, ties things up. Third quarter, though, all UPrep. Corey Wyatt wants some near sideline. That's what he gets, scampering for a big play. Set up a touchdown to make it 22-13. Not long after, Wyatt with the ball in his hands again. He could not be stopped tonight. He gets past the goal line for another score. UPrep rolls 44-16. Here's some out-of-town scores. C.G. Finney knocks off Geneseo 46-22. Marcus Whitman falls to Minders. Elsewhere, Greece Olympia just short of Brighton and the York-Warsaw combo falls to Pembroke 23-16.
Driven by Bob Johnson Chevrolet.
Entering the Section 5 football season, there were a few teams we knew would be pretty good, but what we got was a lot more parity than we expected, and that led to some great first-round playoff action tonight, beginning with a rematch of arguably the game of the year. Rush-Henrietta at Pittsford. Josh Mack bonkers as usual. More from him later. Third quarter, game tied at 21. Jared Gerbino rolls to his right, finds JoJo Ortiz in the end zone. That may be the best combo in Section 5. 28-21 Comets. Fourth quarter, same score. Handoff goes to Mack, and dude shows why he's the best running back in New York State. Reverses field, then check this spin move out on the side. Oh, boy. And then he reverses back at us. The stat sheet's going to say it's 80 yards, but Mack ran about 180 yards. Takes it to the house. We're tied up at 28. Go ahead and celebrate, young man. But the celebration was short-lived, unfortunately, for Pittsford. Less than a minute to go. RH with the ball. Gerbino with a handoff to Reggie Robinson. 10 yards for the touchdown and the win. Pittsford is eliminated. The Comets pull off the upset 35-28. Victor trying to stay undefeated on the season with a sectional battle against Thomas tonight. First quarter, Titans think an upset. Pat Vandermark with the short touchdown score. That starts the scoring. It was the same score. Second quarter, Victor goes play action and goes deep to Zach Estabrooks. That ties things up at 7 apiece. Now 14-7 Blue Devils. First play after an interception, and Dan Barrow takes it straight into your living room. 47 yards. That's worth 6 points. Victor takes it when it's all said and done, 41-22.
Yeah, that's one of the things
in Double A, I'll be honest, I don't think many people gave East a chance against Hilton, but boy, did the Eagles impress tonight. East down a score early on, not anymore. Raheem Gaden reverses field. He's gone. 78 yards down the far sideline. East down just 7-6. That was the score. Ensuing Hilton drive. John Letta back to pass, but Cypher Bowler knocks the football loose and get away from it. That's his. Bowler scoops it up and takes it in for the score. But here's where the momentum changed. Hilton up just 2 before the half. Cadets going for the field goal. Nope, they're not. Fake. Jonathan Letta to Brandon Cutter. And I'm not talking about my favorite bartender at Murphy's Law. Hilton, winners today. They shut out East in the second half. How about elsewhere around Section 5? Class A's top seed at a bit of a scare. Brockport just narrowly beats Wilson. And in Class D's 6-3 matchup, Clyde-Savannah knocks off Batavia Notre Dame. Down 390 south from us here in Class B, second-seeded Livonia hosted Pal-Mac. Bulldogs first drive. Matt Hyde takes it far side, cuts back and walks into the end zone. This would be a recurring theme tonight. Livonia goes up 8-0. Next drive, Livonia pinned down to their own 4. Let's go with a dive. A 96-yard touchdown dive. Ethan Perham. See ya. Bulldogs run game on point tonight. Exhibit C here. John Smith on the reverse, carving his way downfield, making mom proud. I know that she works here. Led to a touchdown on the drive, and Livonia cruises on to the next round. 6-seeded Penn Yan traveling to 3-seeded Geneva. Class B, first quarter, Penn Yan's Tanner Irwin fakes the handoff, throws a dart to Sean State down the middle, busts through 2 Panthers to start the scoring. My voice is, it's going, guys. Geneva trying to answer. Quarterback hops over the first tackler, but there's Sean's sophomore brother, Dylan Stape, on the sack, and 3 seconds left in the first half. Irwin, another fake handoff, throws it far side. This time it's Chris Rossi for the touchdown after the horn blows. That doubles their lead, and Penn Yan pulls off the upset 28-8. State's top-ranked Class D team, Avon, taking on Cal-Mum. Third quarter, Avon's Graham Freeman slinging it across the middle to a sprawling sophomore Aaron Gent for the score. 19-6 Braves. Avon also got it done on defense. Cal-Mum trying to pass, but John Sinaviva lays out for the acrobatic interception. And on the ensuing drive, handoff to Zach Loomis, bringing it near side, but sprints past a pair and finishes the long run on the other side of the turf. That sets up a touchdown. Braves roll to a 33-6 win. We already had a stunner after Rush-Henrietta ended Pittsford's unbeaten season last night. Today, the higher seeds had a lot more success. Canandaigua's Karan Broomfield is often overlooked. People know Pittsford's Josh Mack or Aquinas' Taylor Riggins, but this kid is right up there with him. Canandaigua hosting Spencerport, and Broomfield stiff arms the tackler into the end zone. 24-yard score makes it 14-7 CA, and then the Braves pulled away and quickly. Mitch Schaefer to Lehman Castine. They'd already hooked up for a 64-yard touchdown. This time, Castine takes it 71 yards for the score, 21-7. And on their first drive of the second quarter, it's that dude Broomfield again. Look at those high knees running like Herschel Walker. Lunges for the end zone. 54-yard touchdown scamper, and Canandaigua beats Spencerport 41-13. Ties Sean Sizer and Irondequoit on the road at Athena in a rematch of last year's sectional title game. First play after recovering a fumble with less than 5 to go. Handoff to Athena's Kenny Speed. The aptly named Kenny Speed finds a hole, uses the speed, and puts the Trojans up 27-20. Athena, though, missed the extra point. That's important. 2.5 minutes to go. Frederick June Jr., quarterback, fakes the handoff. Uses those long legs, does what he needs to do, gets the score. Eagles would go for 2 and get it. So Irondequoit is up 1. But Athena drives right downfield. Tavon Granison keeps it himself, gets airborne, puts his boys up 35-28 with under a minute to go. One last play for Irondequoit on the Athena 6-yard line. Oh, June Jr. can't find daylight. Athena stops him short. The Trojans advance 35-28. Rounding out the first round in Class A, Eastridge visited Greece Arcadia. Straight to the third quarter we go. Titans up 14-7 before Cole Norris takes it in from 8 yards out. Arcadia up 14. But the Lancers get 7 back here. Bobby Albritton to C.J. Turner, 35 yards and into the end zone. Cuts the Arcadia lead back down to 7. But that Titans defense came to play. Wouldn't allow Eastridge any closer. Nick Toomey will force the fumble. Tyler Dahl falls on it. Arcadia holds on and advances to round 2. How about Red Jacket? Hosted Dundee today in Class D. And if you've ever seen Red Jacket play, this looks familiar. Sean Sheets pounds it in from 2 yards out. That's power Red Jacket football. 6-0, but Dundee answered right back. Austin Thompson puts it up, and Tommy Fiorella comes down with it in the end zone. Dundee up a point, but from then on, all Red Jacket. Keith Rizzo off tackle, following his blockers, rips off a big gainer down to the 1. Red Jacket scored 2 plays later, and after forcing a fumble deep in Dundee territory, Tyler Gardner bulldozes his way in for 6 more. Red Jacket runs wild, 60-13. And in today's other pair of games, not even close in Bath. Keep an eye on them. They may be good enough to play for a state title. And Fairport and Aquinas still in the first. Top-seeded Irish lead that one 14-7.
Now, 13 Wham Sports, driven by Bob Johnson Chevrolet.
All right, thanks, John Schnurr. Hey, halfway through round 1 of the Section 5 playoffs, we've already had a stunner. Rush-Henrietta ended Pittsford's unbeaten season last night. Today, the higher seeds fared a little bit better. Fairport trying to pull off the upset of the decade. Not a lot of people taking the Red Raiders to beat top-seeded Aquinas. AQ up 7-0 early. Fairport's Keyshawn Howard takes the snap, sprints ahead for the touchdown all alone. That ties things up. But on the other end, Aquinas' Jake Zembeck slings it to a diving Jalen Pickett by the front pylon. 14-7 Little Irish. Later on, Zembeck gets away from a tackler, heaves it towards the end zone. Ernest Edwards can't bring it down initially, but the ball falls right into his laps. Unfortunately, referees threw a late flag. That's no touchdown, but Aquinas would overcome the upset bid and beat Fairport 35-14.
At the Section 5 playoffs today, there were heavy hearts among the Batavia Blue Devils. It's been less than a week since a Hamlin man died in a fire that's still under investigation. His son is a star on the team and suited up today to play his first football game since the tragedy. 13 Wham's Toby Motika joins us now with the emotional part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely, Kelsey. You know, athletes play through pain all the time. Sprained ankles, pulled muscles. But Batavia's Ryan Hogan played today with a broken heart.
Ryan Hogan is no stranger to the end zone. It seems like every time you watch Batavia these last couple years, the senior receiver's out there making a play. But now, as they go for back-to-back championships, Ryan will do so with a heavy heart. without his father David there to cheer him on. But the Blue Devils won't be going for that title without Ryan. The senior receiver suited up just days after losing his dad and did what he always does. Made plays all over the field.
We've been supporting with him. We made some T-shirts for him, and they wore them in school on Friday. And, we did some things for him. But, when it's all said and done, it comes down to him, having the drive and having the passion to come out here and get the job done and just put his life aside for a while and just get lost in the moment, and he does a good job of that.
When it was over, Batavia had a 43-7 win over Hornell and a spot in the Section 5 championship. Ryan had a touchdown and 2 interceptions. But more importantly, he had his family there to support him. Both of his families.
He's a tough player, man. We knew his situation, and we just try to hold him up as much as we can. Just be as supportive as possible, and that's all.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
Now, we didn't get a chance to talk to Ryan after the game, but you didn't have to see just how much this meant to him and his team. He and the Blue Devils are going to get a chance to suit up at least one more time next week in the Section 5 Class B championship against Livonia. 8 games on the Section 5 football playoff slate today, and we've got all 8 of them for you, so let's get right to it. Start you out in Class B. Batavia, your defending champs, unbeaten, taking on Hornell, trying to get back to their glory days. Greg Merzak heaving it up here, deflected and caught by Ray Leach. Batavia cruising at that point. But we told you earlier about Ryan Hogan. Less than a week after he lost his father, he suited up, and the young man balled out. The senior receiver's been a star for this team, and he was a star today. That touchdown catch, 2 interceptions. Batavia rolls onto the final 43-7. Penn Yan and Livonia, the other Class B semifinal winner of this one, would meet Batavia. And Penn Yan storming down the field off the bat. Tanner Irwin hitting Austin Finger. Nice little change of direction, scoots in for 6. And they were looking good, but Livonia, they scored a few points as well. Livonia getting it done. Quick Ethan Parham carrying close, getting on top of the pile and getting forward to tie things up. Livonia, by the way, led 70-60 with 3 minutes to go. Come back for a final if it ever ends. Class A, meanwhile, considered the class that any of the 4 teams left standing could sneak away with. 2 seeds. That's how close it was in Class A. Greece Athena, Canandaigua, scoreless in the first. Few guys have had the year Canandaiguans. Kieran Broomfield has another big day for the senior. Scores on the corner run, 7-0 Braves. But Tavon Granison, he's been good too. Rolls right, can't find anyone. So, hey, guys, I got this. Cuts up field, ties the game at 7 apiece. It's now 14-7 Canandaigua. Granison rolling right again. This time he's got a man throwing across the field. Vince Soffing rumbles in for the score. We were tied at 14 at half, but in the second half, Athena had no answer for Broomfield. Kid had all 4 of Canandaigua's touchdowns today. Braves are on to the final 28-21, and they would play the winner of top seed Brockport against upstart 4 seed Arcadia. And this game really hinged on this one play. Tied at 7 in the third, Brockport's Austin Myers comes in, makes the big hit, strips it loose. Jim Stone there to fall on it. Brockport would score the game winner on the next drive, and the Blue Devils move on 16-7. Top seed in Class C, East Rochester Gananda, a mean 1-2 punch in the backfield with Cam Cleveland pictured there, and Tyler Chavez pictured here. Cuts it up, cuts it out, and cuts it in. Bombers on top. And then it's Cleveland, the man with the hair, on the receiving end this time. Yeah, he's good at that too. Bombers cruise to the win today, 41-8. Bath Haverling trying to beat Leroy for the second time this season and get the right to play the Bombers. Third quarter, Rams up 16-0. Bath's Tyler Finch takes the handoff, lowers his shoulder. That's a power run, demolishing defenders into the end zone. And on Bath's next drive, up 24-zip. This time it's Patrick Brewer. Going far sideline, we'll call that He-Manning, dudes. He storms in for the long touchdown. Bath rolls today, 44-0. 2 vastly different styles squared off in Class D. 5 seed Kearney, top seed Red Jacket. This is what Red Jacket does. Sean Sheets, just that simple run play, but they perfected it. Bye-bye, 85 yards, touchdown. We're going to cut out of it early because BK's going longer. Todd LaRocca, deep for Devin Green, making the grab, breaking a tackle, 69 yards for the touchdown. I said longer, on their own 2-yard line. Demir Pross wrapped up, breaks out, Good luck catching him. You're not going to. 98-yard touchdown. Kearney upsets previously unbeaten Red Jacket 44-28. And they would take on the winners of the 2-3 matchup. Golden Eagles of Clyde Savannah looking to upset unbeaten Avon. First possession. This is how you want to start. Tyler Rattry finds the seam and then just explodes through it. Huffing and puffing, going all the way 66 yards for 6 points. Eagles tack on the PAT. They scored the first 14 points of the half and also the last 7. Pitch to Jared Fennell. Just kidding. HB pass. Touchdown to Derek Chance. CS moving on with the win today. No Bills today? No biggie. Local football fix was in downtown Rochester for the Class AA semifinals at Salem Stadium. Top seed Aquinas and Jake Zembeck hosting Hilton. Zembeck, a pretty good number 12. But so was Hilton's Jonathan Letta. The junior had a game looking for Bailey Pittman. Nice touch, nice catch. He's in. That would tie the game at 7. Then in the third quarter, same score. Letta again, this time using the legs. The little 1-yard sneak. Hilton had a 14-7 lead over AQ late in the third. But Zembeck shook it off, hitting Jalen Pickett on the quick slant pattern. And suddenly we were tied once again, and it felt like Aquinas was in control after 3. And in the fourth, Zembeck, yeah, he can do a little bit of this too. He's a big guy, and he can run it and lower his shoulder. That's a touchdown run, and Aquinas had a 21-14 lead. Letta and Hilton, though, driving for the tie. But the pass is going to be picked off on 2 deflections by Anthony Flegler, and that would seal it. AQ advances in what was a gut check win, 21-14.
Well, I think it's an eye-opener because we've been beating people up, but this is the playoffs now. Nobody wants to go home. Everybody wants to win, and that's the way it is. Everybody wants to win, and these 2 teams here are going to want to win, so we better be ready. They're just great kids, and they gave everything they had, and anybody deserved to win today. We just got lucky it was us.
Yeah, no, I think the challenges are good. I think after we beat Canisius and we were told we were the #1 team in the state, we kind of took it easy a little bit, but we recognize that D teams are really good, and we got to keep our game up.
Now, meanwhile, the team that won it all last year, Victor, looked the part again this season. 8-0 coming into today's semifinal in the #2 seed, but they had to deal with a Rush-Henrietta team bent on putting a disappointing 4-3 regular season behind them. Now, Victor had already beaten the Royal Comets this year, but so had last week's opponent, Pittsford, and RH is still standing. Tied at 13 in the fourth, Jared Gerbino. He's rolling right, and then look at this throw across the field left. In stride, Reggie Robinson, 6. PAT makes it 7. Royal Comets up 20-13. But Patrick Barrow and the Blue Devils, they had an answer. Look at him drag the defender into the end zone. Tough run, made it 20-19. An extra point would tie it, but hold on, talk it over. Let's go for the lead, baby. And it's Barrow. Not much there. Tries to cut up field. Stuffed a couple yards short. Feels like the game was over there, right? Wrong. Onside kick. Perfect. The ball and the hit get there at the same time, and it trickles through. Victor jumps on it, so they still have a chance. They're in RH territory. Field goal can win it. Jamie Trimboli downfield. JoJo Ortiz sniffs it out. That interception sealed the deal. RH, don't call him a 6 seed, is on to the final, 20-19.
I know, I'm just so full of energy right now. It was an amazing game. We fought to the end. We had a whole bunch of plays and calls that didn't go our way, but like I said from the start of the season, these are my brothers. Love them to death, and we fight to the end. That's what Rush-Henrietta is about.
Seeing kids deal with adversity, and we've had some. You know, losing games isn't always fun, but I think you learn more sometimes from that. And I give our kids a lot of credit, and they've matured, and we're just playing good football right now. And most importantly, like I told our team, we're sticking together and fighting for each other, and that's probably why we won tonight.
Yeah, the finals for all classes coming up next weekend. Championship weekend is memorable, but for 2 very different reasons. For some, it's the day the dream comes to fruition, but for others, it's the day you'll always remember that you fell just short. But that is why we play, and it's why we love sport. Class A championship, top 2 seeds, Brockport, Canandaigua. Blue Devils up 7-0, 30 seconds left. Ashton Scott hooking up with Antonio Alvarez for the touchdown. Brockport goes into the half, 14-zip. Advantage, but Canandaigua coming out firing in the second half. Mitch Schaefer, Joe Post. Was it a post route? Yeah. Braves cut the Brockport lead in half, but the Blue Devils would not let it get closer. Canandaigua throwing again, this time picked off by Raphael O'Day. He's going deep into Braves territory. Brockport would punch it in a few plays later. Then in the fourth, call it a day. John Yeager untouched up the middle. Brockport rolls to that Class A title. 28-7. In Class D, it was the 3 and 5 seeds, Clyde Savannah and Bishop Kearney. BK already up 12 at half. Then in the third, Demir Pross. A nice little shake and bake. 32-14. Kings looking like they might run away with it, but running is what gets Clyde Savannah right back in it. On the option, Derek Chance takes the pitch and then takes it far sideline for the touchdown. We got ourselves an 11-point game, but they would get no closer than that. Todd LaRocca, kid can sling it. Ricky Rosati, kid can catch it. BK is going to be your Section 5 champ in Class D. 46-21, the final. Here in Rochester, it's championship Saturday on the football field. Section 5 championships underway at Salem Stadium. We'll start you with a doozy. A pair of Class C unbeaten, ZR Gananda and Bath, and it was all Bath Haverling early. The Rams ramming their way through the Bomber defense. This is Patrick Brewer. This is a big Class C team. Maybe it's the neck pads. Maybe it's the muscles. 80-yard touchdown run. Bath on top early, and it looked like they were going to be on top late. The route was on. Michael Rice through the line and into the end zone. It was 32-0. But my, oh my, what a run by E.R. Gananda. Patrick Shanley to Jackson Hauser. This is part of a 30-point outburst in a little over 5 minutes. But they were still down by 2. They still need a stop, and they do not get it. Brewer snuffs out the rally with yet another 80-yard run and yet another touchdown. The Rams deny the Bombers that Section 5 championship, 40-30. The road to a Section 5 Class AA championship goes through Aquinas. Rush-Henrietta navigated that road pretty well today, but would the Royal Comets navigate it well enough to actually win? Well, Ernest Edwards, injured last week, but suiting up for top seed AQ, and the Little Irish getting the scoring started. Jake Zembeck over the middle. Jason Hawks on the TD reception. PAT, though, no good. It was just 6-0. 38 ticks left first half. RH looking for their first score. They did this last week. Jared Gerbino goes right, throws left. Eric Black, the touchdown. It was 7-6 at half. But halfway into the third, they hand it off to sophomore TJ Scanlon. It's 14-7 Aquinas. Next drive for the Comets. Gerbino fakes it. Downfield to Reggie Robinson. Oh, he's alone in the back. Tippy toe. We are tied. Third quarter now, winding down. This time it's Tyler Olbrich with the Little Irish carry, weaving through tacklers and then heaving them down deep into RH territory. That would go into the fourth quarter when Colin Cupp from 19 yards. It's true. Aquinas had a 3-point lead. Now one last drive for RH to try and win. Gerbino looks like he's going to get sacked, but check out the flip. Heads up to Gavin McDonald, making things interesting. First down and more, so they got another shot. Last chance for RH, but Gerbino running out of time. Can't get the play off he wants. The ball falls to the ground. Aquinas survive and advance. That is indeed what they do. They're AA champs, 17-14.
Winning tonight is great, you know, and high school sports are hard because when you see a kid like Jared Gerbino and those kids crying, you know it's hard. I mean, I've been around a long time. It was a great win for us, but it's a hard loss for them.
Feels amazing. I knew I had to do it for my guys. They worked hard all week. We all worked hard all week, and I knew I need to make it.
The close game was scary. You know, we haven't had a lot this year up until sectionals, but, you know, we dug down deep late in the end, and, you know, that's really all that matters. We got the win, and it was great.
Yeah, moves on. How about in Class B? John Smith and Livonia just put up 70, but Batavia, the top team in Class B for a reason, and they can score too early on. Batavia pitch going to freshman Ray Leach. He's a freshman. The blocking phenomenal, and so are the legs. He makes it 14-0 Blue Devils. 4 minutes left first quarter. Livonia fullback Ethan Parham ends up with it. That is a horse galloping downfield. Get out of the way. That would set up his own TD to cut the deficit in half. 5 minutes to go in the second now. Dom Mugavero chugging down the near sideline and powering through the jersey tug for the touchdown. Batavia just as good in the second half as they were in the first. Greg Merzak had a game as well. Far sideline to Trevor Sherwood. Let the kid do the rest. Gatorade bath time for the Blue Devils. They roll to the title 52-20.
You know, it's an amazing feeling. I can't really explain it. Just We worked really hard for this all year, and I'm proud, came through to win the game.
Definitely feels very good. We went through the experience last year, and I felt like that last year's sectional championship was kind of like the climax of our season, and we don't really feel as though that is this year. We want to keep rolling, going to next week, playing tough.
At Salem Stadium downtown, Brockport taking on South Park, New York in Class A. Tyree Brown, no problems here. The quarterback pretty good at running it too, just kind of fights his way through for the touchdown run. And then on a punt return, that was backed way, way, way up for South Park, but instead it's Dave Thomas. Wendy's returning it all the way back, about 90 yards for South Park, giving them the 2-touchdown lead. And then later on in the first half, it's going to be Brown, who we saw run it. This time he's throwing it deep for the guy who we just saw running it, Thomas. Brockport could not muster enough offense, some missed opportunities in the second half. They go down 20. Class C, it was Bath Haverling taking on a Maple Grove team that was also ranked pretty high in the state. Scoreless in the first, Tyler Finch. That's a rumbler. Lower the old shoulder, square him up, and get the score. 8-0 Rams. Same score, though, in the second. Maple Grove doing it through the air. Michael Welsh, Mitch Padilla. Far side, no one there. Nice play call, good execution. We were tied at 8 at half. Third quarter, though, Bath staying on the ground. They had some big runs last week. No such thing this week, but Stefan Ordway still effective. Last chance for Maple Grove. Welsh once again looking air, looking deep, but Jeremiah Kinner breaks it up. The Bath Haverling Rams, well, they rammed their way into the semis, 16-8. Class D matchup was between Bishop Kearney and top-ranked Franklinville-Ellicottville. Lots of Vills in there, but more scores for Kearney. Todd LaRocca on the option, keeping it, skipping it, and balancing act down the sideline. 8-0 Bishop Kearney on top. It was then 16-6 Kearney. Franklinville deep in BK territory. Check out Shane Noble flashing across the middle of the field. Big interception, eventually brought down out of bounds, but that would lead directly to this. LaRocca to Justin Davis. BK takes down that #1 team. They're moving on 22-12. Section 5 went 2 for 3 against Section 6 in yesterday's Far West Regionals, but we had 2 more games to play today. Jameer Jones and Aquinas, a couple of close calls to finish the Section 5 portion of their season. Oh, but they were ready for Orchard Park today. Tied at 7, late first. Jake Zembeck fakes you out with the pump and then hits you with the spiral. Pitch and catch with Ernest Edwards, 14-7 AQ on top. Inside a minute to go in the first half. Now Zembeck leading his team on a drive. Kind of a similar play, this time looking for big Jameer Jones, and he plays big. Goes up and gets it. Look at his size compared to the size of everyone else. That led to a touchdown. It's 21-7 at half, and in the second, let's do it again. Zembeck, Edwards, the Penn State commit on point today. After a couple of close calls, it was not the case this time. AQ rolls 42-7.
We've been struggling the past couple weeks, and I think we've been dealing with some injuries. We had Ernest back today, full health. Our running back, it was his first start last week, so we just put it all together this week. We're back where we feel like we should be. I would say that was one of our best games of the season, and as long as we can keep that up, we should keep winning.
Our motto is very simple. We're going to play until they tell us we can't anymore, and that's what we do every year. We played really loose, and that was nice to see. They were comfortable playing and having fun again.
Batavia unbeaten, but so was second-ranked Cheektowaga. Batavia looking to climb that ladder. Blue Devils up 2 at half. Jonathan Barber, he's a lineman. Yeah, the big kid rumbles through 7 yards. Blue Devils up 8. Now, after a Cheektowaga touchdown was called back that would have tied the game, we're going the other way. Blue Devils get the sack, fumble, and sprint to the finish. Dominic Mogavero all the way. Suddenly it's a 16-point lead for Batavia. But, oh, here come the Warriors. Cheektowaga can be nasty sometimes. Tyree Billingsley, it just looks like he's jogging, and then all of a sudden, just shoots through everybody else. He's gone. That would get his team back within 8. After an interception, they get it back again in the fourth quarter and punch it back in. Eric Bartnick keeping it on the option. We are tied after the 2-point conversion. Then inside 2 minutes to go, it's Billingsley again. That would give Cheektowaga the 7-point lead. Last chance for Batavia. Now they drive all the way downfield, move deep into enemy territory, but the pass hits the back of a defender and is intercepted. Just a tough break for Batavia. A great season ends for the Blue Devils, 43-36.
Proud of them. You know, disappointed we didn't come out with it, but obviously proud of them. They did a great job, great group of kids. Just, you know, winning a sectional championship, you know, kind of helping bring Batavia football back on the map. And, you know, they were hard workers. They were coachable. They were just great kids.
To show they deserve to wear the crown of best in New York State, they had to take down the #1 team in the state, Tioga. To Cicero North we go, site of the Class D semifinal. Todd LaRocca and the BK Kings. Nothing to do with Burger King, but Tioga the one serving up that fast food for the first 3 quarters. 15-yard touchdown run gives them a 38-20 lead. All but done, right? LaRocca's got LaCannon moving around in the pocket, unleashes this one downfield, and this is why he's going to play at the next level in college. Caught by Devin Green, who makes the catch, breaks an ankle, and then breaks a tackle. Okie dokes his way in for 6 points. 2-point conversion made it a 10-point game. After Kearney gets a stop, they drive downfield, and it's LaRocca keeping it himself. Not selfish, just smart. 2-point conversion made it a 2-point game, but they need the onside kick. And they get what they need. Ryan Carter just speeds in there for the recovery, but the season comes down to this. 4th down. LaRocca had to move around all night long. And he did it very, very well, but his shoelaces got in the way there. Tripped up by the Tioga defender. Great season for Kearney comes to a close, 38-36. Aquinas had a couple of close calls in the Section 5 tournament, but given the way they hammered Orchard Park last week and the fact the Little Irish are ranked 23rd in the country, common sense said they should roll over Liverpool today. We don't always listen to common sense. This is the reason why. Class AA semifinal, a good one. Jake Zembeck warming up those hands on a cold night out in Syracuse. Newsflash, he's good cold or hot. To Jameer Jones, also good, number 32. Touchdown pass for Zembeck on the season, putting AQ up 7. But he would go cold after that. Fumbled to open the second. Here he is on his next drive, picked off. This would be run back deep into Little Irish territory. It led to a touchdown. It was 10-7, but 2-minute drill. He got his groove back. Dumps it off to Tyler Olbrick. And the man with brick in his name does the rest. Fitting in this case, running over everybody for the touchdown. AQ up 14-10 at half. It's 17-10 now in the 4th. Liverpool driving for the tie. This fools everybody. The Aquinas D, our photographer, Matt Traybold, literally everybody. It's 17-16. They would still need the extra point, but they missed the extra point. And then Aquinas just needs a 1st down, and they get that 1st down. Zembeck to Ernest Edwards. He's been doing it all year, and they will do it for one more game. Aquinas moves on to the state final next week, 17-16.
You know, it's a good test. We didn't really have this in the regular season, so it's a real test on our team's character, and I think that we pulled through the past few weeks, and it's just really, it's great.
Yeah, this is the moment I wanted to get to this whole season. I've been there my sophomore year, didn't get to go last year, but, you know, every year you build up a relationship with your brothers, and the ultimate goal is to play in the Dome, and we've got that opportunity, so we got to make the best of it.
It's really special that you get to finish there, and to play in the state championship after everything that's gone on with us is just a great ending to the season.
Aquinas will get Saratoga next week in the final out of Section 2. Expect Aquinas to compete and win state titles on the football field every year. We expect them to do so in dominating fashion almost all the time. So I guess that's why today was no really big surprise. Aquinas taking on a Saratoga Springs team from Section 2, and frankly, a Saratoga Springs team that didn't have much of a shot. When the Little Irish play like this, everyone else is toast. Jake Zembeck to Ernest Edwards, 75 yards. Aquinas up right off the bat on the second play. And after Edwards scored on the defensive side, he's back on the offensive side. 3 dudes can't tackle him, and then 11 dudes can't catch him. Watch him get shoved here, keep his balance, and then tippy-toe his way in for 6 more. Unbelievable. Aquinas up 21-0 after 1, and that was not even close to the best play for Edwards. My ACLs hurt just watching this run. Ugh. Somehow he's still going, and somehow he looks like he could go all the way. Look at Zembeck out in front of Edwards. These two aren't going to play another high school game together, so you might as well go out in memorable fashion. He's pushed out just shy there, but it set up a touchdown. Then Edwards, not done. He sees Sammy Watkins first half and doubles it. 286 yards and 4 receiving TDs for him at the intermission. It was 34-0 Aquinas at half. And in the second half, Zembeck to Jameer Jones, shoulder pads. See you at Notre Dame, young man. They would eventually get him down, but not before the first down inside the 10-yard line. Signal it, kid. Later in the drive, Zembeck to Tyler Ulbrich. 462 yards and 5 TDs for Zembeck. What a season, what a career for some of these Irish. Aquinas is your champ for a 7th time, 44-19.
It's meant a lot after everything that's gone on with this group of kids, that they got a chance to play in this game and win it. It's a storybook ending.
I mean, I hope to people it says a lot about what kind of players and what kind of coaches we have. Just the fact that everybody, stayed together and we stayed strong through some rough times. Even this year, through some rough times, and we were successful and worked hard.
We definitely played for those seniors last year who had their seasons ended by that whatever you want to call it. But I mean, it was just it's a great feeling.
It feels like to me everyone should have been MVP, but they don't got enough place for that. But I'm just proud of my team, and I wouldn't trade my team for anyone else.